What should be the backdrop of civilization? In Western civilization, we say that the backdrop is, among other things, the Hebrew Bible. It's something that unites the Jewish and the Christian world. Sometimes it's referred to as Judeo-Christian values. And that really is the cultural backdrop of our society throughout the West. What is it that should be the root, the backdrop of a society? Take a look at this conversation between Piers Morgan and Jordan Peterson, who shares an interesting perspective. Take a look at this.
100% of Protestant or Catholic majority countries outside of Africa are highly functional democracies. 100%. 6% of Muslim majority countries are democracies.
Do they actually want to be democracies? I mean, we have a slightly quaint view in places like the UK that we are the exemplar for how a country should operate. When I was in Qatar, for example, for the World Cup, the Football World Cup, I met some of the high-ranking Qataris, including people who were related to the Emir, and they were kind of laughing at the idea that they would look at the UK as a template for how a society should exist, with our knife crime, our drug abuse,
yeah, well,
our
it's
drunkenness.
easy to say that.
I'm throwing it back at you. They were genuinely bemused. They were genuinely bemused that we would think here that somehow the way our country operates is the exemplar that they should be adopting.
It isn't necessarily the case that the denizens of the Islamic world look to progressive Western democracies as the ideal, but that turns out to be a problem if you're importing them en masse, because their fundamental predisposition might not be democratic, and yet they're in a democratic society. So it isn't obvious what to do about that. Okay, the next thing I would say is it's pretty bloody easy for the rich Muslim countries who are absolutely awash in, I would say, undeserved oil money to moralize about the superiority of their culture. I mean, the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia were a little, fringe tribal cult before the West stupidly dumped $1 trillion on them and allowed them to propagandize the entire world. They would have been a backwoods Arab tribe lost in the desert forever if it wasn't for oil money.
Western civilization is undergirded by a belief in and an application of the Hebrew Bible. The Hebrew Bible is used as the tool, the so-called Old Testament, because it is in that scripture that the creation of a stable society is described. Those are where the laws and statutes of building a moral and ethical society are. That's where we glean them from. With that said, those sorts of values have created a flourishing society of both freedom and prosperity to anyone that's adopted it. I think that's the point that's being brought over here in this particular clip. What do you think? I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.